Good morning to everybody. Welcome to my class and the law and development. And this is Professor Dr. Mohammed Saheb Hussain, and who is going to teach your class. And now it is a chapter 4, which I am going to make it out. And if, of course, you don't have the now on the screen, and hence you could not see what I shared on the screen. So, what is the important human rights based approach? What is the importance of human rights based approach? Because based on the human rights approach, the development is there. And I will give the explanation how the development will come out. The development will come out when you want to restrict yourself. The development come out when you want to restrict yourself. Then what is the restriction, you may ask? Restriction is you cannot do whatever you like it. And there is a restriction, you can keep it, then the growth will be seen. For instance, you are enjoying the drink, you are enjoying the playing the cards, you are enjoying all the vices, and you are reading it. Your most of the time goes in the boozing and playing another activity. But the reading activity is very much less. At that instance, you cannot see the development. Suppose if you restrict yourself not to booze, of course, less time, not to spend your amount money for the other sakes, and if you use your time for good health, and because a sound mind is in sound body. A sound mind is in sound body. That is an Asian proverb. But the African proverb is a healthy mind is in healthy body. So you make your body healthy. For you make your body healthy, you have to do the exercise, at least some warm up, and some of the sweat you have to come out. At that time, your health will be quite good. And when your health is quite good, you can use your energy for the reading and doing the things and making the things. That's why the development will be seen over there. Either financially or physically or mentally or spiritually, the development will come out when you streamline yourself, when you restrict yourself. So here, restriction is more important, but here the restriction is through the charter, treaty, declaration, protocol. These are all the different methods that make you restrict yourself so that the growth will be seen. So here what I want to say is a human rights based approach within parentheses. I don't say square bracket, sorry, round bracket or a circular bracket. I say parentheses. Parentheses, spelling Parantheses. Parentheses, HRBA, that is a human rights based approach, is a way of, it is a way, it is a mode, it is a conduit. I don't know whether you understand. Conduit, CONDUIT, conduit. CONDUIT, conduit. That means when the lake is there for the irrigation, there is a conduit, put it over there. Through conduit, if you open it, the water will flow and the people will irrigate it, the land. That is the conduit. That is the conduit opening, passing the way, let out. So it is a way, it is a mode, it is a conduit, CONDUT, a conduit to what? Way of empowering. You empower yourself, something, because a man empowerment will come at the time only when he is having certain rights. When you are having certain rights, you will be empowered. So that is called empowering. Empowering the people. People means who are PEOPLE. People means subject of the state. Subject of the state. The citizens, the human beings, including the foreigners. Yes, a people to know, KNO know, KNOW know, and claim their rights. And they know empowerment, and they know what their rights are there, and increases the ability. When we have the rights, you will not keep quiet. You fight for the rights. If you have the rights, you will not keep quiet. You fight for the rights. So that is a very important factor. When you have the rights and increases the ability, because of these rights, your ability will be increased. A moral support would be increased. A moral support will be increased. Suppose if you have the revolver with you or a panga with you, at least the moral support would be there with you that, okay, now I can face it. A moral support, a inner thing. Suppose if you don't have the revolver, nor you have the panga, and at the time the moral support is less. Any vibaka comes, if any rowdy shooter comes to beat you. But if you have the revolver, you have the moral support, and your empowerment is more, and your ability is more, your capability is more, that you will commit. So the ability and accountability of the individual. Not only the ability, accountability also. Because no one has to touch you. That is, you have the right, including your wife or husband. Are you following me? The reason is, you do have such a right that nobody should touch you. And when you touch somebody else, that fellow is accountable. How? He will be penalized and the compensation will be paid. If you touch it, merely a person, with the intention to draw the attention, Muallim looking at you, suppose from back she touches you, suppose you are doing Chini, sending the SMS from the down. At the time, to draw the attention, she can touch you. But the intention is to draw the attention of your Muallim. That is the touching. So, if you touch anybody, it is amount to the assault. And even you have the right, yes, compensation will be paid. Because it is a right in rem, that is, right against the entire world. So that is, that person who touched you without your consent, without the justification, and he will be accountable. And he will be penalized. And we will file a case against him in the court of the law. So the accountability of individuals are the group or the institution, doesn't matter. When you say person is an individual, a person is a female, a person is a male, a person is a, what is the third gender? Anyone, one can give the answer, because it will record it. You can give the answer, it will record, no doubt, if you say loudly. Third gender? Anyone? I say, DDTA, tough question which I asked. Male, female, third gender? Nini? I appreciate transgender. Enjoy. Chukwa na PP. Okay, I will give the PP to you. Transgender. You know transgender? I will show you the way that transgender will. But looking like a man, but a womanish behavior is there, and we will say the transgender, and even transgender also the accountability would be there. You are not supposed to say the transgender is a transgender, because every transgender is having the name. It is a amount to defamation. It is amount to defamation. Because I taught the defamation for the second semester people. If you call a prostitute also a prostitute, it is a amount to defamation. Even though everybody knows that she is a prostitute, the entire city knows that she is a prostitute, but you are not supposed to say the prostitute as a prostitute, because your intention is bad. Because every prostitute having its name. So here the accountability of the individuals, even a person includes the transgender, even a person, a fetus in the womb also. A fetus in the room, a fetus, fetus in the womb, 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 are a person. A juridic personality is the institution. An institution is a person. A church is a person. A muscatine is a person, but is a juristic personality. It is not a person. It is not a person like a human being. Juridical personality or juristic, JURISTIC, juristic personality. And the legal entity. It is a legal entity. So we can say individual or the institution, doesn't matter, who are responsible for what? If the institution is responsible for respecting, what respecting? The human rights or the rights. And the respecting the rights, the human rights, and protecting the human rights and fulfilling the rights. See, the three words are there. Number one, respecting. Number two, protecting. Number three, fulfilling. Merely respect, merely protect doesn't make anything. You have to fulfill it. Suppose if you have the chakula, pilau or biryani, Hyderabad biryani is a very nice biryani in the world, we can say, or in India, Hyderabad, because I am from the Hyderabad. So Hyderabad biryani, I say you are having, you are showing to him, merely showing, and she get the smell, but you are not fulfilling to give her. When fulfill means give to her to eat, then she will be fulfilled. Merely having the rights doesn't make any difference. You should be fulfilled. You should be effectively implemented. That is more important. For the implementation of any right, there would be institutions are there. If anybody violates any right would be there is a mechanism would be there, and the institution will take care of it, that everybody should have to protect and respect and fulfill the rights of the individual. Now you can say, tell me, sir, you say rights, human rights. What is exactly the human rights? Anyone? Anyone can give the reply? Yes, please. Say loudly. Say loudly. It will record it. You are recorded. Come here. Say loudly. It will record it.
Agenda.
Say. Hold it and say. Hold it and say. I say hold. Say. Now speak.
Okay. I want to say that I want to disagree with you in one issue.
Sema.
About transgender. For myself and when I read the different book. Yeah, but
Yes, please maintain silence. Haraka.
I read different books. I discover that human rights come by nature, because even if I'm a man, my human rights come because I'm a man. And if somebody is a woman, the human rights become because she is a woman. So if somebody changes his or her gender, and we say that we should respect it by calling him or her by using his or her name. If we call different, we can mention him like a gay, a prostitute, we defamate her or him. That's something's wrong to me, because he defamate himself. He torture himself. So when you say that we make defamation by calling them the gay prostitute, I think this things is wrong. This is the new ideas which try to come to our mindset and destroy our mindset. For me, the human rights is the human right because we born with it. Thanks so much.
I appreciate him that the way that he explained is very good, right. Being a woman is enough. Either he, she, or transgender. Human rights comes, it is inalienable. You cannot waive off. Human rights cannot be waived off. And it will be inherent. As soon as you born as a human being, the rights are bestowed to you or given to you. What the right? You have the liberty, you have the freedom, you can move it, you should have security, and you have expression, and these are all the things will come under it. But generally, there are three principles are there, which are very main important thing. The human rights principles are there. Number one is a liberty. Number two, expression. Number three, security. Of course, sometimes they will interchange it. But liberty, security, and the good health also, sometimes it will count. And good health also counts. So, in many respects, the human rights or violations are there, and a right which is given, a right which is inherent. As you are a human being, the right is also will come with you. Like a man who is going in under the sun, the shadow will follow him. The shadow will follow him. Kivuli, shadow means kivuli would follow him. And please, when I ask the questions to you, and next class, please don't run away. If I ask the questions to you from the next class, don't run away, because generally I tell the students that if you run away from my class, I repeat, if you run away from my class, one day will come, you will run away from your own shadow. One day will come, you will run away from your own shadow. Please don't run away. What I am doing is doing for your good self only. Because without doing such a thing, I am not doing a justice to you. Because of my knowledge which I have it, if you die with me, it doesn't make any fruitful result. But it's disseminated to you, it will have the good result to you. So that's my intention, to take the special class, even though it is not my class, but I feel happy when I take the class and my food will be digested. My food would be digested. If I don't take the class, my food will be indigestion, I will get it. So that is the human right. Then the next point which I want to make it out is, hear carefully, because every voice will be recorded here. Everything will be recorded here. And I will send you, if you make any disturbance also, it will be recorded here. So can there be a development? I repeat, can there be a development without human rights? Answer is no. Because when there are no restrictions, no development. When there are restrictions and rights and limitations, there is a development. So a development will not come without the restrictions. And here they say sustainable development. The wording they used is sustainable development is only possible if fundamental human rights principles such as non-discrimination. Sustainable development, I will explain you after some time. But it's only possible if fundamental human rights principles, what are the fundamental human rights principles are there? And number one, we can say we should not discriminate it. A woman, a guy, a boy, a watoto, a nini, eunuch. I don't know how many people knows it. EUNUCH. Anyone? Eunuch. EUNUCH. Eunuch means nothing but, I told you, no, transgender, like that. Eunuch means, just like I told you, no, he is a man but a womanish features. Okay, that is called eunuch, EUNUCH. So now there should not be any discrimination that, South Africa, what is the discrimination in South Africa where the Nelson Mandela is fought? Sema. Say, don't know. I don't know, Sema. It's enough. Say. What is the South Africa? Nelson Mandela fought for apartheid. Is it not a discrimination? The white and black discrimination is there. The poor and rich discrimination is there. So we should not try to discriminate them. And the non-discrimination means, non means opposite. Or sometimes, kilele. Okay, non-discrimination and participation. We will allow the people to participate it. Even when you are taking the decision in your home, and let even your children also participate in the decision. Because we would like to give the views of them also. If your children are grown up and they are read well, are intelligent, you take their participation also. And you know the company law, you studied company law. In company law, even a labor is one of the representative in the board of directors meeting. In the board of directors meeting, he is one of the member, because he knows what are the difficulty would be there of the people, those who are working in the company. So he is one of the member in that, because participation is must. And he would also see what the board of directors are taking the decisions. So that is the way participation and the rule of law are respected. Rule of law. What is the rule of law? No one is above the law. No one is above the law. And everybody is below the law. And rule of law says there is no discrimination regarding the sex, creed, caste, color, skin, civilization, behavior, economic conditions, and place of birth, and no discrimination. Rule of law is everybody in the eye of the law is the same law would be applicable to him, either he is rich or poor, and where is there educated or uneducated, doesn't matter, because law will see that the rule of law are respected. These rights from the basis of international cooperation. How these rights will come is the basis of the international cooperation. Here, international, the word used over there, because at the right now, how many members are there in the UNO? State members. How many UN? To my knowledge, it's the 197, but 3 or 4 are only, they are not recognized. 193 members are there now in the UNO as a member states. They are not only the signatories, they ratified it, and most of the states, including the Tanzania and India, domesticated the international instrument in their municipal laws. So, international cooperation is very good. No country will grow, no country will develop without the cooperation with the other country. Please take it granted. Take it granted. No one can develop without the cooperation of the other countries. I mean, say country. Even when you say person also, be good to your neighbor first. Be good to your neighbor first. Jirani. Neighbor means Jirani. Because your own blood relatives, they may be staying in the London, Australia, Japan, New Zealand, migrated to Canada, but your Jirani will come to your rescue. Your neighbor will come to the rescue. Hence, the law will say that be respectful to your neighbor. So that is a very good law. That is a cooperation. When you are eating the biryani with a stomach full, taking the belching, and your jirani, a neighbor is starving at that time, it is a curse on you. You give him at least morsel. Morsel means how much you can keep in your morsel, M-O-R-S-E-L, morsel. How much you keep in the fingers, that much at least you give him as a sadaqah, as a charity. As a charity. So that is the cooperation would be there. International cooperation would be there. Otherwise, no country will survive. Even yourself also, unless until there is no cooperation between your class to each other to exchange the notes, exchange the material, or exchange the ideas, exchange the discussion. Yes, otherwise there will no growth at all. Suppose if you read yourself, but you did not explain to somebody else, your knowledge will die with you only. You try to explain it to other people, those who are trying to make them be, at least get a good grade and pass, because their father, mother will expect that he will get the good grade in the class. So that is the thing. So international cooperation is very much essential. And you tell me what is the time, because I don't want to say that I should be encroached on somebody's time. So you remind me, Lusajo, L-U-S-A-J-O. Okay, now next, see, everything will be recorded, I told you. So if you make the kilele, yeah, the kilele also will be recorded here. So now next point, what is the advantage of human rights? Approach to human development. What is the advantage of human rights? Approach to human development. There should be some approach would be there. A approach is very much important factor. Suppose a small example I am giving you. I don't know whether you agree to my logic or not. Suppose even women also wear the shirts. Men also wear the, sir, this is not shirt, this is the counter suit. Yes, it's the counter suit. So, I will say the approach. A man should have to button from the up to down. But a woman should button from the down to up. Why? Why such approach? Why a different approach for the man and a woman? There is a logic. A man can make it out because he doesn't have the boo-boo. Are you following me? And he can make it out from down to up. Even it comes like this, doesn't matter. But the woman should have to make it from up. You have to try to close it. Please wear the dress very nicely. I am also a human being. I am not a robot. That will be recorded. That will be recorded. A decent dress is a must. Otherwise, it's the invitation to the other people to deviate his mood. Of course, for me, I am a muhidia chagga, siochuna buzi mimi. That is also recorded here. Yes. Now coming to the point, advantage of the human approach. Approach is very much important. Approach to a human development is very much important. The way you approach, the way you go and your development will come over there. If you go in a haphazard manner, happana. Suppose if I ask you, how many children your father is having? So your approach should be either you can start from the Moisho, last one to the up, or you can start from the Kwanzaa, first one to the last. But don't start from the Katikati, because your bad approach. Your approach is not in a proper way. And that is the very logic. Another example which I want to give generally is, first when you are wearing the trouser, of course, people are ladies are first Kwanzaa chupi, Pili skin tight, Tatu surwali, pant. Can you make it a reverse? Kwanzaa surwali, Pili skin tight, Tatu chupi. You will become a Superman. You are not a man, you become a Superman. Approach is very much important. From where you start and where you end, that counts a lot. Where you start and where you end, that counts a lot. And approach is very much important. So, approach to development and governance, including the realization of gender inequality. Governance means continuity, holding, governing. You know, governor, that is a governor and a governing, and that is the point where we can say, and you can sit anywhere, it is a recording. It is the recording, don't speak. You sit there, it is a recording. So a governance is there, including the realization. What realization? Of a gender inequality, gender equality. The realization is gender equality is there. How the gender equality? You should not discriminate between a man and a woman. And we should not discriminate, he is a male and a female. And we should not discriminate, he is a transgender and a male or a female. So no discrimination would be there. And no discrimination would be there. So gender equality is there. Is that it encourages, it develops, it boosts up. And inherently means in the body itself, inherent qualities. It is in the DNA. Inherent quality, DNA. I don't say, you know what is the DNA. An inherent quality, holistic vision of outcome. Holistic vision of outcome. What is the holistic vision? Not from only one angle, from all different angles. And that much approach is a very important factor that is called the holistic approach. Holistic approach is a, so a holistic approach, and holistic means characterized by the belief that a parts of the something are intimately interconnected and explicably only by a reference to the whole. So it is interwoven, interconnected, and that is the holistic vision, holistic approach would be there. Now I read it, sustainable development. What is meant by sustainable development? Anyone can give the answer. What is meant by, no, that your turn is over. What is meant by sustainable development? Anyone can give the answer for my question. Yes? Okay, I will, without wasting time, because this Cisco WebEx is only 50 minutes, Bure. I can deal only the 50 minutes, it can be recorded. Afterwards, it will automatically disconnected. That means still 50 minutes are not over. That's why it is going on. So sustainable development in the sense, you use the resource, but if you exhaust it, not keeping the resource for your future generation, and that is not a sustainable development. You use the resource and you also generate the resources for your coming generation, and that is called a sustainable development. For instance, you know recycling, the paper is recycled. Paper. It is recycled. Yes. So, I say continue it. Because you did not join in my meeting. It is saying the warning that, sir, nobody is in the meeting. Shall I continue it or shall I end it? I say continue it. So it will continue till it ends. Because at least one person could join it. So they say that a person is listening and hence the meeting is in progress. Doesn't matter, it will continue it. So sustainable development means You use the resources and see the resources will not be exhausted, and the resources as it is, it will be there for the use of the next generation. And whenever the development would be there for the industries, and see that flora and fauna will not be wasted. And again, you can put the deforestation. You plant the plants so that the whatever the plants that you cut it for the industry, that again will be grown over there for the next generation. So that is called sustainable development. So the sustainable development is a very much important factor when you want to say development is there. Next point is, how do you use a right-based approach? What is the meant by right-based approach? So now let us see what it means. So approach should be right-based approach. It is a very important factor. Yes. What is meant by right-based approach? Both in relation to the equality and in relation to the violence. Yes. Both in relation to the equality of irrespective of the discrimination, equality is there. Number one, and the relation to violence, one should not be make a violence, because if your right is there, your might is there, you are more powerful, you are not supposed to make any violence to a weak man. So violence, a women's group in the developing countries have benefited from the use of the human right-based approach. For example, Indian women struggle against violence, rape, and enforced prostitution. Why not even Tanzanian women also? हाँ हपाना सर लिपा एल्फ हिश्रिनिया एल्फ हमसे नहीं ये सियोसेमा. I don't know how many people got my point or not. So any woman, or Tanzanian woman, or Indian woman, a woman who is bold enough, self-sustained woman, and women struggle against the violence. Suppose you are the woman, unnecessarily the husband is beating to the wife, and he is a strong woman, and she is a karate, nose, one down, black belt. At that time, definitely he will retaliate it. Definitely it will retaliate it. Because unnecessarily that you are beating a woman, do you mean that he is a wife? Do you have the right to beat the wife? No. If you want to make a modern punishment, we can do it. But see that she should realize that she has committed a mistake. So here they want to say is, a woman struggle against the violence. If any violence would be there, and she will not keep quiet, and she will retaliate it, take the vengeance also. And suppose somebody wants to make a rape, and if she is a very good woman, a tactic woman, do you know what she will do it? Don't feel otherwise. If anybody comes for the rape for the woman, she will lift the leg and give the kick at directly at the pumbu. Najua. Najua. Kingreza we can say testicles. Kingreza we can say, that is the woman tactics. That is the woman tactics where a person comes for the rape. So number one, that is a rape if he comes over there, and that will be and enforced prostitution. Suppose if you make a woman, the woman trafficking is there. It will be recorded. Everything will be recorded here. The woman trafficking is there, and purchasing the women and purchasing the girls for the prostitution. Professor Hussein's students never say prostitute. Professor Hussein's students never say prostitute. What do they say? Anyone? Anyone? Elfu moja. Zawadi. What is the synonym for the prostitute? In Kiswahili, we will say Malaya. What do you say in Kingresan synonym for the prostitute? Haraka. Spelling? I appreciate. She is entitled. She is entitled for the Zawadi Injo, because I want to keep the promise. I don't want to keep my promises should be broken over there. And war, W-H-O-R-E, war. Show to them. Otherwise, they think that I have not given. War, W-H-O-R-E, war. Number one. Another one. Professor Hussain student will say, another one, sir, give me the elfu moja. No. Of course, I can give the emoji also. Sir, we would like to search in the smartphone. Harlot. 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 Professor Hussain students only say. Otherwise, it's an open challenge that nobody could know that. It is my challenge, I am saying. Because if you use a tough word or a new word, people think that, this fellow might have heard the Professor Hussain class, that's why he's using his all knowledge on us. Are you following me? Okay, now let us come to the point as, so if a woman would be there for the violence or rape and enforced prostitution, if it come over there, they will complain to the NGOs, they will complain to the police, they will complain to any other person who is a activist, human right activist, and they will see that free from the prostitution. So that will be the thing. And I don't know, Supreme Court of India has given the judgment recently, prostitution or a sex workers, it is a profession, they said. It is a decision given over there. But to me, as a, that should not be there, encouraged, because Tanzania and India, they are the cultural based countries. They will maintain the culture, civilization. If you make a commodity, then naturally people will be bizarre, bizarre, B-I-Z-Z-Z-A-R-E. They will be hithered, and there will not be a development. There will not be a restriction. And that would be the thing which I want to share with you. So what is an example for the right-based approach? Just now I told you, a woman, strong woman, he will violate. If any person violates it, he will take the revenge on him. So what are the 5 principles of right-based approach? What is the 5 principles for right-based approach for the development? So there are 5 principles, that is a human rights-based approach is underpinned means noted, weighed, go through, conduit, 5 key human right principles. What are they? And they are known as, Andika, number 1, participation. Number 1, 5 principle human rights approach for development. Number 1, participation. Number 2, accountability. It is accountability. Number 2. Number 3, non-discrimination. Non-discrimination and equality. Non-discrimination and equality. Next, empowerment and legality. Empowerment and legality. Spelling EMPOWERMENT, empowerment, and legality, LEGALITY, legality. So I repeat, there are 5 basic principles are there, key principles are there for the human rights based approach. Number 1, participation. Number 2, accountability. Number 3, non-discrimination and equality. And number 4, enforcement. Number 5, legality. So total 5. 1 is joined over there. Participation 1, accountability 2, non-discrimination and equality is 3, empowerment is 4, and legality is 5. So in that way, the human-based approach would be there. So this is the approach where one can make the human right development. Now the question comes over there. How does the right-based approach applied in the development? How it can be applied? The 5 principles, the 5 keys, how it can be applied for the development? Yes, the 5 principles are 5 keys. If you follow it, definitely you could see the development. So here they said, how does the right-based approach applied in the development? Answer is, taking a right-based approach to development is a way of thinking about designing. Number 1, about the designing and managing the development programs that is guided by the legal standards found in the range of international human rights treaties and conventions, and the values and principles that inform them. So all these 5 keys are there Definitely it is there in the international instruments. Because without it, it cannot make it out. Definitely it is there, all the keys. If one is missing, at least other four are there. In all treaties, in all declarations, in all charters, in all protocols, it is there. Sir, can you know the distinction between a charter and a treaty? A charter is made by the UN agency. A charter is made by the UN agency and a special agency or a privileged agency which is given the power to by the UN. But a treaty is among the states. Cooperate, mingle, join, and make the multilateral treaty. Bilateral treaty, only two, Wavili. Bilateral treaty. Multilateral treaty, many. Multilateral treaty. So, treaty is it. Declarations, when the people joined over there, they will make one declaration to follow this thing. That is a declaration. So, there is just you can Google it and search it in the Google search engine, and you know the a little difference would be there among that. And a protocol is there another. Protocol also a type of the thing. Generally, the protocol is there. Suppose in the family, suppose you want to greet anybody in the family, do you greet to the Moshe? Do you greet to the Makubwa? Makubwa you greet because it's a protocol. It is a protocol to greet Makubwa. Later on, Katikati or Moisho, we can make it out. So that is a protocol, and these are the treaties, protocol of the international instruments, and where the development could be seen and can be applied over there. And what value does a human right based approach add to the youth development? How the youth can be developed? If the youth will not be given a proper direction to them, then naturally the youth go to hell. So they say for the youth development, supporting the youth right becomes essential for youth work, both in developing the skills youth will need for their future role as a democratic electorate and recognition of their humanity. The youth should be given first a good education, a good health, and morality. He will not be exposed to the open market like having the free sex, and there would be a taboo, and then only the youth will run. And they are not supposed to be starting the boozing, smoking, having the bad vices from the beginning. They try to avoid them. Then only the youth will be know certain skills, and the today youth is going to be the backbone of tomorrow nation. I repeat, today youth is going to be the backbone of tomorrow nation, and youth will be protected over there in the right direction, and there should be a godfather would be there to make the instruction to the youth and see that they should be properly grown and properly educated and properly given the skill, and when this skill they will become a skilled person, and when they become a skilled person, naturally they produce the goods. When they produce the goods, economic development would be there, and with that economic development the GDP will be increased, and when the products are very more, you can export to them to the other countries, and where you get the foreign currency. So the development of the youth is in that direction. We have to mold them, and then only that we could see that. And the future role, what is their future role? Because Tanzania is a democratic country, and here you do have every right to vote. Vote, V-O-T, vote, franchise. At the time, if they know it, who is good and who is bad, and he can cast his vote, and he can use his franchise. He can use his franchise, the power of the vote, and elect a proper government. Sir, there is a rigging, sir, in the electoral booth. Okay, that is a different issue. So the electoral role would be there, and recognition of their humanity. At least what is the humanity also be there. Suppose if you are going on the path, you are going on the pathway. If you find a thorny bush on the path, at that time, at least keep it aside. There is a humanity, there is a morality. If a stone would be there in the path, on the way, try to keep it aside. Sir, the stone is a big boulder. I cannot lift it. Okay, at the time you cannot do anything because it is beyond your power. Suppose if you try it, you will kufa, you will die it. So when you see that you are not having such a capability to lift the boulder, at that instant, either you take the help of somebody else or just you can say that to the other people to see that it could be done in that way or removed in that way. So a right-based approach honors the idea that youth don't earn the right to make an impact of the turning a light. So now the question comes over there. How much time we have to give and guide the youth? At least completion of 18 years. Means is attaining the age of attaining the age of Nini. Majority. You have to guide the youth, at least he attains the age of majority. What is the majority? According to the Majority Act is completion of 18 years. Completion of 18 years is a majority. And that is the thing, they made it very much clear. An international instrument also says majority is 18 years, and the same 18 years is domesticated in our Tanzania as well as in India also. That is what is the international instrument for the children? There is an international instrument for the children. What is that name of the instrument? CRC. CRC. And where the Tanzania is also a member and a dignitary, signatory, member ratified in their municipal statutes. In other words, we can say domesticated. That word is domesticated. Spelling DOMESTICATED. Domesticated. So that is the wording that you should use it. And why is a human right approach important in childhood practice? What childhood practice? Human right approach is in every field, it is having its significance. Either to the child, or to the woman, or to the physically challenged person, or mentally challenged person, or retarded person, the human rights give the its right to them because that are inherent and which are inalienable rights of the, then only we can say the development in each aspect. Now let us see that see everything there is a right approach is there. What is the right approach to spit? Anyone? What is the right approach to spit? Spit. You know, spitting. What is the right approach? Sir, I can spit it. Jew. Is it a right approach? If you make it on the sky, it may fall on you only. Then what is the right approach? Can you spit in the front? Why you are looking at me as if that I am asking such a hard question to you? What is the right approach to spit? Sijui, Mungu najua, nimesahau. Sister, bado. Sema. Leo sister, kichinjio. Right approach is